A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute pleasure for me to welcome all of you in the world's biggest Olympiad, the 9th International Young Chef Olympiad. Ladies and gentlemen, Young Chef Olympiad is not just a competition, but it's the biggest orchestra of passion in the world. It is organized by sheer determination, madness around, and this is exactly what Young Chef Olympiad is all about. YCO is not about winning or losing. YCO is about friendship. YCO is about camaraderie. YCO is about bonding. YCO is about taking friends for life, and this is what Young Chef Olympiad is all about. Young Chef Olympiad is definitely, hands down, the best competition in the world. But it's the place where the world meets the world. It's the place where you make bonds for life. It's the place where you make memories for life. And this is what Young Chef Olympiad is for us. And for Team IIHM, what we bleed is YCO. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world's biggest culinary Olympiad, the 9th International Young Chef Olympiad.
To have this panel on the dais on board, we would please request to start with Major Mohammed, member of the British Empire, for his services to the hospitality industry. Welcome to the panel, Professor. We would have Chef specialized as an instructor in culinary psychology at Harvard University. Followed by him, we've got Chef Gary McLean. He's a food ambassador, author, and executive chef of the City of Glasgow College. He's the winner of Master Chef Professionals. He's the National Chef of Scotland. And we also invite Professor David Foskett to command on this discussion. He's a professor at the university. He was the professor at the University of West London, England. He's a member of the Academy of Culinary Arts and the Craft Guild of Chefs. He's also the chairman at International Hospitality Council, London.
I want to, first of all, go to Major Mohammed Ali Shah, who's referred to as AA, sir, AA, because I know you've got to leave halfway through. But I want to ask you your view of what you think is quality education in terms of sustainability to improve the delivery.
That's a very interesting and a very intriguing question, sir. Thank you very much for that. Firstly, hello everyone. How are you all? You all had lunch? Yes, sure? Yes. Okay. Hope you're awake. So it's an honor to be here and to be sharing the panel with this such eminent dignitaries, and of course with Colonel Jones, who's himself been a colonel in the UK Army. He was heading the catering command of the UK. And firstly, let me tell you one thing. During the lunch break, someone happened to accidentally drop a plate of chicken curry on this round neck dress of mine. Accidentally. So I was like, oh my God, the next session is mine. Now what do I do? But that's Murphy's Law. When something has to go wrong, it'll go wrong in the worst possible hour, in the worst possible way. And then luckily the session also was delayed. Further on, pushed forward by half an hour. So I got time to educate, time to clean up, and now you can't even see any single stain. Or can you? So this answers one of your questions, sir, about sustainability over there.
Yeah.
I had to, for Murphy's Law, it went wrong. Cleaned up the mess. I'm a vegetarian, and chicken curry was dropped over here.
Right.
So as they say, my dear friends, less is more. Let me tell you, in the army, Colonel Jones will agree with me, we are trained for living in a trench, in an underground bunker, sharing a 6x6 room, 6x6, literally where only a bed can fit in at the border. And we can stay in the most luxurious 5-star hotels as well. Why 5-star? 7-star hotels. And how many, okay, raise your hands. How many of you think that traveling is the best education that you can get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, wow. Lovely. Okay, perfect. You agree, sir? Superb. Which means when we travel, we learn different cultures, we taste different food, different cuisines, we learn different languages. So one important aspect, like in the army, when I was with the Assam Rifles, most of our troops come from Nepal, from the northeast. So these were Gurkha troops. So we first basic thing we did was learn their culture, learn their language. Kashacha, Rambaroshacha, Thiksha, Aunus, Basnus. So if you converse with a person in his language, as students of hospitality, if you greet somebody in their language, like I was very pleased to hear many of you come up to me and say namaste. So imagine the feeling I got. So similarly, if someone is from France, if I say bonjour, comment allez-vous, right? So the person feels good. So in the army, again, we learnt was different languages. If a person is from Nagaland, like I served in the Nagaland for 3 years. Nagaland is a northeastern state of India. So they have, and I speak Nagamese better than I speak English or Hindi or Urdu or perhaps any other language. So when over there and Nagaland had insurgency, which means we were fighting counter-terrorism. In those hostile terrains, when people, the locals over there, the villagers, when they would see me carrying an AK-47 or with my grenades or my bulletproof attire, standing there, instead of feeling intimidated, they would feel that the army is here to protect them, to be with them. So earlier they had a different impression. That's one more thing. And we realize if we have to operate here, we have to first become their people. They should have faith in us. Similarly, your guests should have faith in you. There's no publicity, no advertising better than word of mouth. A person travels, a person tells you and talks about it. Oh, I stayed there and wonderful. The treatment over there was beautiful. Just last night, I was at a function again, and incidentally and coincidentally and interestingly, it was a mix of defense personnel and people from the hotel management. So what happened was, a person, I will not say accidentally, one of the person received them, and it was very, very protocol way. In the army is very protocol wise. Colonel Jones will agree with me. So we have hierarchies that a general would sit here, a brigadier would sit here, a colonel, a major, a captain, so far and so forth. So one of the guests was received by a very hospitable catering student like any one of you, and he made him sit in the front row, on the front seat, where the general was supposed to be coming and sitting. When the general arrived, the general saw that the seat was occupied by somebody else, but in a very calm, sophisticated way, a captain walked up to this guest and told him, "Sir, would I request you if you can come back?" It can get a little embarrassing, right? So it was very embarrassing for that person sitting there, but he got up very gracefully, he got up and sat there. He calmed down, he went to the captain and he said, "You are doing your job and I appreciate that. Don't worry, I know how difficult it must be for you to come up to me and tell me that." So empathy, again. So these are small things which we use in the army to ensure that when we interact, when we deal with the person remembers us forever. And let me tell you, the hospitality in the army is considered to be the #1 hospitality in the world. Yes? Did you all know that or not? Raise your hand if you knew it. Wow, I'm impressed. Thank you, ma'am. So some of you knew it. So some of you might feel bad, but yes, the hospitality in the army is known to be, now hospitality is not just giving you luxurious things. As I told you, I served in the line of control, and let me tell you, the area where I served, it was 30 meters away from our neighboring country, and we had very hostile relationships with them. it was even more hostile that time. So we used to put mosquito nets every night. And we would put mosquito nets not to protect ourselves from mosquitoes only, but because when you wake up at 2:30, 3 a.m. to have a glass of water, you would find at least 2 to 3 king cobras sitting on your mosquito net. You would find a Russell viper, perhaps a python. And in that area, they are minefields, of the vintage minefields. So now we knew we had to be there. We had to be there, stationed there for 2 to 3 years. So what we started doing was we started gardening at the border. Basics. Small trees, shrubs which were edible, which we could eat as well. So the ecology of that area also benefited. There was contribution to ecology. And apart from that, we were guarding our land. And when we would actually sit down for a meal together, the whole idea was having a meal together with the entire platoon. So it was that food, basic food. It was made on stones and a small little on a helmet. In a helmet, we would make tea. Are you imagining that? Imagine making tea in a helmet, but it used to be the best tea in the world. You can serve tea in the best of cutlery. Presentation matters, no doubt. But what is even more important is the heart. So if you enjoy doing something, 100%, the person you're serving or your guest is bound to enjoy it. But if I do it like my job, I am serving you tea because I'm asked to serve you tea, I'll just do it. And it's the vibration from inside. It comes across. It shows. So you got to enjoy what you are doing. There is a lot more, and I don't want to take the time of our eminent speakers. And as he had mentioned, okay, on such talks, I don't write down a speech. I speak from my heart. So that inspired me. So I had prepared a long speech, it was there with me, and I sat up the entire night, and that inspired me, and I caught on from there. So during the lunch hour, I said, okay, let me come and speak to them from my heart, what I believe in, and try to give them examples where you all could hopefully connect with. Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There's much more awareness of sustainability and issues around that than perhaps when I was growing up. These sort of conversations weren't spoken about. It's about not thinking of things as byproducts. It's thinking about produce in its entirety and exactly how you can maximize that. And looking at the availability of the resources that we have around us and forming communities and groups to celebrate things like local produce. That then goes into educating the people around you, seeing that somebody's just said about travel. What an opportunity to go and explore other cultures and learn from those cultures and the techniques and those styles. So there is that opportunity to fuse that knowledge into and to bring that home, but to apply it to what's sort of more local.
Go to the most eminent Professor Peter Jones to sum up. And then we'll go back to the students to see if they have any questions.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, thanks very much, David. Well, I think I can sum up to start with by acknowledging my colleague on my right here and his military experience. I started my professional chef's career, if you like, in the Army Catering Corps, and our motto was "We sustain." We were doing sustainability long before it ever became fashionable. We didn't have problems of food waste, because we tended to try and reutilize and reuse everything.
Do you have a question for the Major? Because he's got off lightly. Yeah. Yeah. No? No? Oh, well, there you are. Okay? So there we go. So it's been a very enjoyable session. To be honest with you, I've learned a lot today. Thank you all. Thank you, Major, Peter, Andreas, Gary. It's been a very enjoyable session. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you to the students. As I said, your contribution is the most important.
Thank you very much, panelists. True educationists. May we please request Professor David Foskett to felicitate the panelists. If you can just... Chef Gary McLean, Chef Andrews Muller, Professor Peter Jones, Major Mohammed Ali Shah, Professor Neil Rippington. That's fantastic.
You could give it to me the next time you see me, David.
Chef will send it through. We can't miss you out. We'll send it through.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please request Dr. Bose to stay and share your remarks in terms of thanking the panelists. How have they performed? Because you are the final judge out here. And over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks to all the panelists, moderators, all the mentors, the chef assistants of the Young Chef Olympiad, the guests and ladies and gentlemen, the media and the press. We had a lovely, lovely session.